A healthcare agent is a person that you can name in a legal document so they can make decisions for you about your mental health care and treatment. If something happens to you and you get into a crisis and you're not able to make or communicate those decisions for yourself, well, that sounds really important. But how do you choose who would be the best person to serve as your healthcare agent? Your mom? Maybe your roommate Ruthie, she's been your best friend forever? Or how about your Uncle Al from Albuquerque? Well, it's not an easy choice, but I'm going to give you 5 questions that you can ask and answer for yourself to help you decide who would be your best person to serve as your healthcare agent. Okay, so let's think about Ruthie. The first question is, does Ruthie really know you and understand you very well? Does she know you well enough to decide what kind of treatment you would want if you had a mental health crisis? Number 2, are you comfortable with Ruthie? Do you feel comfortable around her? Can you talk to her about personal things like what kind of a medication you would want to be treated with for a mental illness, or what hospital you'd want to go to if you had to, things like that? Can you talk to her about that, and can she really understand what your preferences are so she can advocate for you and represent you at a time when you might be really ill and not able to speak for yourself? Number 3, does Ruthie know a few things and understand the basics about mental health care and crisis services and hospitals and things? And would she be a good person to sort of navigate your access to treatment in a crisis? And would she be good at talking to a doctor for you and sharing the right kind of personal information with the doctor about you and getting information that would be most helpful for you in that situation? Number 4, do you really trust Ruthie? Do you trust her enough to, let go and let her make decisions for you at a time when you're ill and not able to think clearly and say what you want? And do you trust her to represent your wishes and not what she would want for herself or what she thinks is, quote, best for you, but what you would want? And does she know what those preferences are? Do you trust her for that? And finally, number 5, this is really important. Is she available? Does Ruthie want to do this? Is she willing to do it and to step up and show up and be there for you in a crisis and do the work of serving as your healthcare agent with healthcare power of attorney? Now, if you answered yes to all 5 of those questions, I think Ruthie would be a terrific healthcare agent. Your mom might be a good second choice. She knows you, she's your mom, but maybe she wants to do her plan for your life and not yours, right? And let's face it, Uncle Al from Albuquerque, he's from Albuquerque. He's not going to be there and be available for you, even if he's your favorite uncle. Okay, now we just need to make sure that Ruthie is eligible legally in the state of North Carolina to serve as your healthcare agent. So there's a rule about that. She can't be your doctor. She can't be your therapist. She can't actually be a healthcare provider at all, at least not yours. Provide services to you and get paid for it. But if she doesn't do any of those things, she would be eligible, and probably she would be a great healthcare agent. But wait a minute. What if you say, hey, I don't have a roommate named Ruthie. I don't have an Uncle Al from Albuquerque. I don't even have a mom, at least not one who lives in the same state and is involved with my life. What do I do? Well, that's a tough situation. But maybe you could talk to your doctor or your therapist or your case manager if you have one of those. And sometimes they might have a bright idea about someone else who could serve as your healthcare agent, someone you haven't even thought of. Maybe it's your neighbor, Ned. Key points to remember. The best person to choose as your healthcare agent is someone who knows you very well and understands your values and preferences. Someone with whom you feel comfortable and can share personal information. Someone with basic knowledge about mental health crisis care who can talk to doctors and advocate for your wishes. Someone you really trust to make important decisions about your treatment. And someone who's available and willing to be present with you in a crisis and speak for you.